Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been searching for some good content today, then you're in luck because I'm going to talk about the new SpongeBob movie, the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. I'm going to talk about the movie, tell you my thoughts on it, and just my experience overall just watching the movie. So, recently, the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, came out. It came out officially in theaters worldwide, or at least in the United States, on December 19th, 2025. Fun fact, one day before my 19th birthday. So it was pretty cool to kind of start off 19, even though I wasn't technically 19 yet. But it was pretty cool to start off 19 at the movie theater watching SpongeBob. Which, fun fact, that was the first time I ever saw a SpongeBob movie in actual theaters. Because I never got to see Sponge out of water in theaters for some reason. I don't remember why. But I never got to see Sponge out of water. And obviously we couldn't see, Sponge on the run in theaters, even though I wanted to. But, it is what it is. So luckily when Search for SquarePants came along, finally I was like, yes, this is finally the time we get to do it. So, yeah. So for those that don't know what Search for SquarePants is about, basically it is about SpongeBob, and he's basically wanting to prove to Mr. Krabs that, he is a man, he is, he can do what a man is supposed to do. He could be strong, he could be powerful, and he wants to believe that so bad, but he somehow still doesn't believe that he is that. And Mr. Krabs kind of feeds a little bit into him, even though he's just trying to be helpful and also truthful as well. And the Flying Dutchman sees this as an opportunity because earlier in the movie, SpongeBob, or not SpongeBob, but the Flying Dutchman, basically has this curse on him where it turns him from a human into a ghost, to the ghost in the sea, and the only way to lift that curse is to get someone pure-hearted, and that's where SpongeBob comes in. And the Flying Dutchman, he sees that as an opportunity of like, you know what, maybe if I believe in what SpongeBob wants, even though I don't really believe in him at all, maybe I can get what I want. And the whole movie just takes place in the underworld where the Flying Dutchman puts SpongeBob through a bunch of these challenges in order to get what SpongeBob believes he wants, which is, to be known as a big guy, to be known as the swashbuckler that, Mr. Krabs apparently is. And Flying Dutchman can, get the curse lifted from him and become human again. So yeah. And Mr. Krabs and Squidward, they notice this and they're like, no, SpongeBob, don't do this. So, like, it's Mr. Krabs, Squidward, Gary, and they all try to go save him. And that's basically, like, the movie. My experience watching this. So, what did I think of it? I personally thought that this movie was pretty good for what it was. Do I think it ranks above the first film or even the second film? I don't think it ranks above either of them. And kind of the reason why is because, first things first, we gotta talk about the animation. The animation retains the Netflix era, SpongeBob, where we had these spin-off films, which we had Saving Sandy Cheeks, and then we had the Plankton movie. Now, Saving Sandy Cheeks, out of all SpongeBob films that were to be made, or SpongeBob-related films, Saving Sandy Cheeks was probably the worst one out of all of them. And if you guys want me to talk about that movie, we'll talk about it on a future day. Plankton movie was a better one. But yeah, like, it retains that quality. And the reason why it retains a little bit of that quality is because it was originally supposed to be a streaming film, and they decided to make it a theatrical film. I personally preferred it would have had the animation style of maybe the third movie or the first two movies, the regular television animated style. I personally preferred if it were that. I feel like that would have made the story a little bit better. A lot of people got their hopes up originally about this film because a lot of the original crew members that worked on seasons 1 through 3, the Golden Era SpongeBob, especially Derek Dryman, who was a major part, played a major role in that in the Golden Era SpongeBob. He was directing it, so a lot of people thought that it was going to be like a blast from the past or something like that. And it was, but also kind of wasn't. Another thing that I thought this movie kind of lacked was we didn't have any characters like Sandy, Plankton, or Pearl. Now, Plankton, I can kind of understand because I see this film is trying to dive away from something, from a plot that would be caused by Plankton. Because the first three films, uh, all the plots generally happen because Plankton starts something. And that's, and his plan is always to steal a secret formula. So I liked how they're starting to kind of dive away and show that there's more villains that exist than just Plankton. But however, I think Pearl should have been in it. And I say this because there's a scene where they go through Bikini Bottom High School, and I'm surprised Pearl was not seen in any part of that scene. Sandy, I think, would have been helpful because she's a scientist and she might know how to stop SpongeBob from being lured into the Flying Dutchman's trap. Yeah. So I think Sandy should have been in this film and not have just that one liner or just a few liners. I will say the one thing I really did not enjoy was the fact that there was this plot hole of Mr. Krabs and the Flying Dutchman knowing each other from the past. Because if you remember the episode SpongeBob versus the Big One, the one that had Johnny Depp in it, Mr. Krabs and the Flying Dutchman have this scene together where they're arguing over Flying Dutchman, he loses his groceries, and Flying Dutchman's like, well, you got money, let me get some money. But Mr. Krabs, he's like, no, never. So it's so they're just basically arguing over that. But when the Flying Dutchman comes in that first scene in the episode, it's like, it's not a man I never seen before. So it's like if they knew each other from the past, why didn't they know each other in the versus the Big One? That's something that kind of didn't make sense. Yeah. And then also the quality of the live action scene. Basically, or don't remember, basically there's a live action scene where Mark Hamill's character, the Flying Dutchman, he goes into Santa Monica basically once the curse is lifted temporarily. He goes into Santa Monica as a human and tries to avoid SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs. And what I really didn't like about it was that the live action scenes were all stock footage and mainly green screen or sound stages. That's what I didn't like about it. It doesn't make sense because this film had a budget of $64 million bucks. And it's kind of a similar budget that Sponge Out of Water had. And sure, maybe it's expensive to film in the state of California on a beach, but why couldn't they just filmed on any other beach in the United States? Why couldn't they just done that for a live action scene if it was expensive to film in the state of California? That one didn't make sense. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, I feel like that would have been worth it to film in live action. So it just really did not make sense. And yeah, I just didn't get it. If they can film live action before, why can't they do it again? And then Ice Spice, Ice Spice, I thought her song was pretty good. I thought Big Guy was pretty good. I don't listen to Ice Spice's music, but I really did like the song Big Guy. I thought it was pretty good. I thought, it got straight to the point. I know people criticize Ice Spice's involvement in the film, and my personal opinion is that Ice Spice is a SpongeBob fan. Her music may not be for the majority of everybody, but she's a SpongeBob fan. I feel like any fan that makes music would be grateful and lucky to have that kind of opportunity to make something really unique and original for a film like this. So I feel like Ice Spice is definitely the right person to be involved. That's my opinion on that. So overall, what did I think of the movie, in general? I thought the movie, for what it was, it actually wasn't that bad. This was not on Saving Sandy Cheeks level. Because Saving Sandy Cheeks was terrible. That movie had terrible editing and everything. Whereas this one, this one was just a bundle of joy. If you're somebody that just wants to kind of just turn their brain off and just laugh at dumb comedy or something like that, then that's really what this movie is. It's just more just a fun experience, just a trippy kind of experience. And yeah, that's my personal take on it. I do think that this film probably will not have the quality that it had, the first two films had, because obviously Steven Hillenburg is not in the picture, unfortunately. But if Steven Hillenburg were here today, I feel like it definitely would have retained the quality of the first two films. I really do think it would. And I really did like the scene in the Bikini Bottom High School because they head over to the locker room and you can see Steven Hillenburg's name on one of the lockers, which I thought that was really, really cool. And oh yeah, there's one more thing. Davy Jones' locker is it like the story that continues in this movie, and somehow it's in Bikini Bottom High School, and that doesn't make sense because if you remember versus the big one, his locker's at the bottom of the ocean, so that part doesn't make sense. But but then again, I guess it is how it is. And furthermore, Steven Hillenburg did say himself that anything that happens after the first SpongeBob film is like before the first film, because he sees the SpongeBob first film as the true ending of SpongeBob SquarePants. So in a way, maybe that's how it's supposed to happen. I don't know, but yeah. But so far, if I had to give this movie a rating, I would probably give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I thought, I thought it was great for what it was. It definitely was not terrible, but it also, wasn't like perfect either. But that's just my experience. I definitely would recommend you go see the movie, or take your family to the movie if you've already seen it. Like take everyone to go see the movie because I thought it was really cool, really special, and really sweet at some moments. So yeah, so that's basically my experience about seeing a SpongeBob movie. Let me know what you guys think of the movie in the comments below. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.